So, do we think Donald Trump's written confession will prod the Department of Justice into action? Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So Donald Trump has now added to the criminal mix a written admission that he wanted Mike Pence to overturn the results of the presidential election. Here's how Newsweek is reporting it today. Headline: Donald Trump says he wanted Mike Pence to overturn the election for first time. It's the first time Donald Trump has said that. The article begins, Donald Trump has admitted that he wanted former Vice President Mike Pence to have, quote, overturned the election, close quote, while the 2020 results were being certified during his ceremonial role as presiding officer of the Senate. Trump's remarks are the first time he has described his intention as overturning the election results, which Pence, quote, unfortunately, close quote, failed to do. And friends, here is the written statement Donald Trump released himself. Here's how it reads. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. If the Vice President, in parens Mike Pence, had absolutely no right to change the presidential election results in the Senate, despite fraud and many other irregularities, how come the Democrats and rhino Republicans like wacky Susan Collins are desperately trying to pass legislation that will not allow the vice president to change the results of an election? Actually, what they are saying is that Mike Pence did have the right to change the outcome, and they now want to take that right away. Unfortunately, he didn't exercise that power. He could have overturned the election. Well, you know what, friends? The only thing this statement still needs is a prosecution exhibit sticker. There. Fixed it. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a written admission of guilt from Donald Trump himself. Now, let's get this question out of the way. Why would Donald Trump say it? Why would he put it in a written statement if it was incriminating? Easy answer to that one, friends. I've seen it 1,000 times in my career as a prosecutor. There's a term for it. Getting in front of it. What do I mean by that? Well, witnesses have undoubtedly told the House Select Committee and the Department of Justice that Donald Trump was running around saying he wants Mike Pence to overturn the election results. And if the authorities already have that evidence, Donald Trump has to try to get in front of it, right? So he pulls out his tired old playbook and he says the incriminating part out loud, hoping that people will be fooled into believing that because he's saying it out loud, it's not criminal. But it is criminal. And let's get this other Donald Trump claim out of the way quickly. You know, his claim that because Congress is looking at the law, looking to perhaps shore it up or make it more precise regarding the count of the Electoral College votes, that somehow translates into a vice president presently having the lawful authority to disregard the Electoral College votes and simply declare the loser of the election to be the winner. That is a pathetic, absurd, transparently frivolous claim. So now all that is left to do, friends, is for the Department of Justice to bring a federal prosecution. So regarding the need for the Department of Justice to now move out and criminally indict Donald Trump for his many crimes, I wrote a piece for MSNBC Daily, and it was published today. I'll put a link to the article in the description for this video. And here's the title of my piece. Will Trump run in 2024? How the Department of Justice could boost his bid. If the Justice Department doesn't prosecute Trump and he runs for re-election in 2024, we can expect him to talk about his, quote, confirmed innocence, close quote, at every rally. And you know, my working title for this piece while I was drafting it was, will DOJ be Donald Trump's shadow running mate in 2024? And here's how my article begins. In the nearly 13 months since the January 6th Capitol riot, hundreds of Americans, the foot soldiers of the insurrection, have been criminally indicted. However, not a single member of the insurrection's suspected command structure, the planners and plotters, the organizers and funders, the orchestrators and inciters, not a single one has been charged. And it's still unclear whether any ever will be. This inaction from our very own Department of Justice could enable future attacks on our democracy. Donald Trump is famous for and adept at taking a loss and spinning it as a win. When phone logs heavily suggested he had extorted Ukrainian President Zelensky, he told Americans his conversation with Zelensky was perfect. When he was impeached after that perfect call, he claimed he was the victim of a politically motivated witch hunt. When Robert Mueller's report was released, he crowed about his complete and total exoneration. And more recently, Trump said his recorded phone call urging Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find enough votes to fraudulently declare him the winner of the election in Georgia may have been even more perfect than his call with Zelensky. On Saturday, Trump continued to hint that he may run again in 2024, saying at a Texas rally that if he wins, he would consider pardons for convicted January 6 rioters. And given Trump's obvious patterns and proclivities, there is little doubt how a Trump campaign would spin things in the event the Justice Department declines to indict him. We know how Donald Trump will spin it. If the Department of Justice fails to indict Donald Trump for a single crime, Donald Trump will not just spin that as a complete exoneration. He will actually tell people that the Department of Justice has put its stamp of approval on everything Donald Trump did while in office. Because if any of it was criminal, you can bet the Department of Justice would have indicted him. You know, Donald Trump might as well bring a cardboard cutout of Attorney General Merrick Garland to his campaign rallies, drag it up on stage, drape his arm around the cardboard cutout, and tell his fans, he's vouching for me. He's got my back. He has told you by his inaction, nothing I did was criminal, nothing I did was wrong. And yet, what we continue to hear from our Department of Justice is we will follow the facts and follow the law wherever they lead. Well, the facts are in. The law is clear. And now we even have a confession cherry on top of Donald Trump's criminal sundae. It's time to move out DOJ. It's time to indict. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.